to another story that's coming to the fore from Telangana. It's another day, another political power tussle between a state government and its governor. We've seen it happen in Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Delhi, Punjab, and over the past 8 months, a similar situation is brewing in Telangana. Now, let us give you a little bit of context between the ongoing face-off of the Chief Minister, Mr. K. Chandrasekhar Rao, and the Governor, Tamilisai Soundararajan. Now, the State Assembly here had passed 10 bills in 2022. Now, they were sent to the Governor for her assent. For about 6 months, the Governor decided that she will not clear the bills, which then forced the ruling BRS Government to approach the Supreme Court. Now, after the top court made it abundantly clear in April this year that, there should be consent that should be given at the earliest, or the bill should be returned as soon as possible, the Governor then decided that she'll give a nod to about 3 bills. Now, of the remaining 7, 2 bills were sent to the President for further deliberation, while the Governor returned 1 bill and claimed to have not received 1 other bill. And then there were 3 bills that were left: the Municipal Laws Bill, the Panchayat Raj Bill, and the State Private Universities Bill. Now, immediately after the Supreme Court's observation here, the Governor returned 3 of the bills mentioned, seeking further clarifications. The BRS government, of course, has decided that it will once again introduce this bill in the House, get them passed, and send it again to the Governor in the hope that this time she will have no option but to clear it. But Tamilisai Soundararajan is not the one to back off here. Defending her earlier decision to send back the bills, the Telangana Governor has said that she had her own reasons to do it, and that they are backed with logic and with rational explanations. Now, hitting back at the BRS for terming her centre's puppet, Tamilisai says she is not biased and is only working for the sake of the people of Telangana. Let's listen into these reactions that are coming in.
ఈరోజు గవర్నర్ వ్యవస్థను అడ్డం పెట్టుకుని రాజకీయాలు చేస్తున్న కేంద్ర ప్రభుత్వం ఏదైతే ఉందో, చట్టసభలకు ఉండాల్సిన గౌరవాన్ని తగ్గిస్తూ ఈరోజు తిరుగులేని మెజారిటీతో అధికారంలో ఉన్న ప్రజాస్వామిక ప్రభుత్వాన్ని, ప్రజల అభిప్రాయాన్ని అపహాస్యం చేసే విధంగా గవర్నర్ వ్యవస్థను అడ్డం పెట్టుకుని శాసనసభ పాస్ చేసిన బిల్లులను తిరిగి పంపిన వ్యవహారం ఏదైతే ఉందో, తప్పకుండా ఆ విషయంలో కూడా మొత్తం కేబినెట్ మొత్తం చర్చించింది. ఏ బిల్లులనైతే మేము చట్టపరంగా ప్రజాస్వామ్యబద్ధంగా ఆమోదించి గవర్నర్ గారికి పంపామో, ఏవైతే వారు తిరిగి వెనక్కి పంపినారో, ఒకటి మున్సిపల్ శాఖది, మరొకటి పంచాయతీరాజ్ శాఖది, మరొకటి ఎడ్యుకేషన్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ది 3 బిల్లులు వారు తిరిగి వెనక పంపినారు. వాటన్నిటిని కూడా మళ్ళీ అసెంబ్లీ సమావేశాల్లో తిరిగి పాస్ చేస్తాం. ఎందుకంటే రెండోసారి పాస్ చేసిన తర్వాత గవర్నర్ గారికి కూడా గత్యంతరం ఉండదు. రాజ్యాంగం ప్రకారం కూడా రెండోసారి శాసనసభ పాస్ చేసిన తర్వాత ఎవరైనా సరే, గవర్నర్ ఎవరున్నా, వారికి రాజకీయంగా ఏ అభిప్రాయాలున్నా, వారికి ఏ రకమైన ఆలోచనలున్నా,
I am not against anything. I have clearly given my explanation about each and every bill, and the explanation to the speaker, which should be tabled in the assembly, so that why I have rejected I have returned the bill. So not without any reason. Every bill had a reason to return. 3 bills I have endorsed, and other bills they had some reasons, valid reasons, and I have clearly mentioned. So I cannot be blamed that in a biased manner I am acting, and I am well aware of the situation of Telangana, and I have clearly mentioned about the clarifications, and I have clearly mentioned about the objections, why I have returned the bill. So it is done in a very clear-cut manner. That's all I can say.
Earlier this matter was, even escalated to the Supreme Court. The state government has said that several times they have alleged that Governor didn't, approve the bills. And on the other hand, when it comes to the Governor has made it very much clear that for the clarification and for, because there were some recommendations to be made from the Governor office, and those recommendations have been made to the, to the state government and sent to the Chief Secretary. And they didn't get the Governor office didn't get the response yet, and at that time I know the Governor has made it clear. And now again, KTR yesterday after the cabinet meeting has stated that there are 3 bills especially, which were, passed in the last assembly session, and those are pending still at the Governor office. They were sent back to the, government, stating that, there should be some clarification should be given, and which is, related to the Panchayat Raj, which is related to the Education Department, which is related to the Municipal Department. So basically, 3 bills were sent back to the, the government by the Governor office, and immediately KTR said that this again, in the coming assembly session, we will be passing these three bills again. These three bills will be tabled and will be passed again by the legislature. And, Governor will be having no option rather than passing it. That is what the KTR has stated. And, we have also spoke to the Governor. Governor speaking to the media has said that, all the bills, there is, valid reason, behind the bills were sent back to the Governor. Clarification has been asked.
Well, we'll have to now decipher what exactly is wrong here. Is this a political decision that has been taken by the governor, or is she fair and just in saying, well, if there is a problem that I see as the governor who has to give an assent to a bill, at the end of the day, it's her signature that makes the bill an act. So is she right in actually sending it back? Or with elections around the corner, are we going to see more politics around this play out? To discuss more about this and to decipher it, I have NV Subhash from the BJP, Dinesh Chaudhary from the BRS, also Saye Sekhar Angara from a senior journalist also joining us. Let's, in fact, right now bring in the BRS, because we've already heard some of the charges that have come in from Mr. KTR himself. Now, where does the issue really lie here? Because, as far as Tamilisai Soundararajan, the governor, is concerned, she says she's listed out reasons as to why she cannot give her assent. So are these reasons not valid enough according to the BRS, Mr. Chaudhary?
Good evening, Deepak. Before going into this discussion, let me remind you, a very famous person in 2011 has made out a few observations and wrote a letter to then Prime Minister stating that Sarkaria Commission has made a recommendation that people in active politics should not be nominated as governors, and they should not be stationed in opposition ruled states. And if BJP doesn't know who that famous personality who said these words are, let me remind them, it was then Gujarat CM Narendra Modi who had written this letter and who had made this observation, and who was requested then Prime Minister not to appoint politically active people into governors' positions and station them in opposition ruled states. This is the point of contention which is happening right now. Because of that same conditions, Narendra Modi ji is currently imposing on the nation. See, every one of us knows, right before her appointment, right, the day before her appointment also, Tamilisai Soundararajan ji was the BJP president of Tamil Nadu state unit. And immediately she was gifted a position of governor and she was shifted to Telangana. And from that day onwards, she has become a big hurdle in developmental policies and implementation of government decisions. If she says she has valid reasons to, sit upon those bills cleared by our Assembly and Legislative Council, let me ask her, Deepak, does it take really 8 to 9 months time for a governor to decide whether these things are valid constitutionally or not? Whereas in BJP ruled states, bills get passed within 1 month. While in opposition ruled states, states are being held hostage by governors because of the directions coming from central government. So this has become a political scenario. Governor is no longer a constitutional authority going by the current situation. So the fault lies with BJP and Narendra Modi government, who is trying to run a parallel government in opposition ruled states through governors. That is a point of contention we have with them.
Okay, but you didn't answer my question as to the kind of objections that she's raised. Are they genuine or not?
See, she has raised a few objections saying that I had objections regarding private universities bill and all. Our education minister, Srimati Sabita Indra Reddy ji, and our education department officials, everybody visited the Raj Bhavan and they had discussions for hours on this subject, and they've cleared all the doubts she had regarding that. But even then she's quoting the same old story. And let me ask her, Deepak, doesn't BJP states have private universities and the same norms being followed here? Haryana can have private universities, Gujarat can have private universities, Bangalore can have, Karnataka can have private universities, but Telangana government, when they try to introduce them, she's quoting all sorts of litigations and asking them, are they valid? Our education minister and education officials have amply given time for her doubts and cleared them. But even then, when they act upon political strategy, these sort of things happen.
Okay, let's bring in Mr. N.V. Subhash because the charge is probably directly being leveled at the BJP here, Mr. Subhash, that you're trying to politically interfere through a constitutional position like a governor. Not just in Telangana, there are charges being leveled that in multiple states it's happening. So now today, of course, we're discussing Telangana. So let's stick to this. As far as the private, universities bill, we've seen a little bit of a clarity that's come in that, she said that the public educational institutions itself are not in a good condition. So where does the question of private universities being allowed to open come in? What about the other bills that have been put on hold? Because aren't you like slowing down the entire process? Because the people elect these MLAs, they sit in an assembly, they decide on these legislations, clear a bill. And when the governor, blocks them, there is, of course, a big void that is created in the democratic process.
Whether the governor is from the rule state or politically appointed or not, they have to do certain things for the welfare of that particular state. As far as the Telangana state is concerned, the
Mr. Subhash, I'll just give you a couple of minutes while there seems to be a technical glitch at your end. We'll try to fix that, and let me bring in Saye Sekhar Angara, senior journalist, of course, who's seen Telangana politics for quite some time. I'd like to ask you pertaining to the politics around it, because if you look at these sort of blockades, if they're alleging politics behind it, what is the essence of these three bills? Because if multiple bills were presented and a few of them, have been put on hold or have not been given an assent, there could be political reasons like the BRS is alleging. But is there more than what meets the eye as far as these bills itself are concerned?
I don't think there is anything hanky-panky in those bills, but the political differences between the BJP and the BRS are the cause for this imbroglio and the impasse between the Raj Bhavan and Pragati Bhavan. Pragati Bhavan is where the Chief Minister lives. And Honorable Governor Dr. Tamilisai Soundararajan has, as soon as she took over, there were suspicions within the BRS that she might start politicizing the administration. So in the process, she has initially she has not given any scope for any such doubt, but then gradually she has taken a political posturing and she has gone to press. She is talking to media. As soon as she went and met the Home Minister of India, Mr. Amit Shah, and as soon as she came out, she spoke against the government, against KCR and against the BRS government. This governor is supposed to be calling the government headed by KCR as my government because she is constitutionally the head of the government. But unfortunately, and whatever that could have negotiated and discussed and then resolved has become an issue in public. And she has been sitting over the bills using a clause of clearing them as soon as possible, because that as soon as possible has not been defined by the Constitution of India, which is not right. And if she has any objections, she has written. And in its wisdom, if the Assembly takes a different view from the opinion of the governor as an individual and comes up with the same bills again, which the government is now going to do, there is no other option according to Article 200 of Constitution of India. There is no other option for the governor also but to give her assent. And this delay tactic is actually nothing but politicizing the whole matter. And the governor unnecessarily...
Okay, we have the BJP back. Since you're mentioning politicizing it, Mr. Sekhar, let's have the BJP respond. Because Mr. Subhash, you were trying to make a point before, we lost you there.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
Exactly. See, from 2014 to 2019, they had a governor which has been, who has been appointed by the Congress party. At that time also, many of the bills have been written. but they did not politicize because Bharatiya Janata Party always claims that the Congress and the BRS are always in hand in glove. As soon as Dr. Tamilisai has been appointed by the Bharatiya Janata Party, Narendra Modi's government from 2019, many of the bills have been cleared by Her Excellency the Governor of Telangana, which in turn the government of Telangana has already had some cordial relations on that. But due to some the reasons where the governor has been putting her foot down for certain issues which has to be clarified, because many of the false promises where the BRS government has made in Telangana which have been not fulfilled, especially as far as the just education policy or the municipal policy or many of the bills, the governor has been asking for some kind of clarification. It is for the government of Telangana, the chief minister and his union, the cabinet and the officials are supposed to come to the Raj Bhavan and then establish a cordial relationship. And any the benefit of doubt is there in that, they have to be just clarified.
Mr. Subhash, here is Tamilisai Soundararajan, who was the BJP state chief in Tamil Nadu. In Puducherry, when she was, of course, the Lieutenant Governor, there were a lot of issues there as well that Mr. Narayan Swamy, the then Chief Minister, had raised. And then she comes to Telangana, and now, Telangana is, of course, poll-bound. And that's where the BRS is saying that, well, it all smells too fishy with her blocking the bills. Mr. Subhash? Okay. We'll try and get back to you when the line is better there. Let's bring back the BRS. Now, on one hand, of course, we heard the BJP spokesperson initially what he was trying to say. He's saying that she is very well in her right to do what is necessary for the people of the state. Now, as far as we've seen, you did mention the private universities bill. She did give some clarity. What is the state government picking up on her comments as to why she has put it on hold, and whether those changes are going to be made when you once again introduce it in the assembly, or is it just going to be a routine process that's going to be followed, because for the second time it goes back to her and assent is mandatory there?
Yes, Deepak, we have said earlier also, our officials and ministers have visited Raj Bhavan and given her whatever clarity she needed on those bills. She had hours of meetings with them. Even after that, she is deliberately trying to hold them whatever provisions that have been provided her under the constitution. But unfortunately, there is no definition to as soon as possible. And I have heard the BJP spokesperson saying that the governor is very much within her right to withhold these bills. No, sir, that is not what our constitution provides. According to Constitution, under Article 163, the governor has to act upon the advice of the Council of Ministers. She is not a super constitutional authority. She has to act upon the advice of the Council of Ministers. And Telangana government has made all these bills after deliberations in Assembly and Legislative Council with following due procedures. And whatever objections he is having, let me tell you, BJP states are having all of these. And he was speaking, Mr. Subhash was speaking about poll promises. If we go about poll promises, where are the poll promises of Narendra Modi of bringing back black money to India, of giving houses to everyone by the end of 2022, or doubling the income of farmers by 2022, or reducing the prices of petrol or diesel or LPG cylinders? Where have these poll promises of Narendra Modi gone?
As much as we can, let's talk around this particular issue that we are dealing with, because I believe that we'll have the BJP back on the phone line because he has some technical issues. So I'll once again check with my director if we have Mr. Subhash back. And meanwhile, of course, Mr. Subhash, I believe right now we can at least pick you up clearly on the phone line. If you could respond, because the BRS clearly says that clarification after clarification has been given by the officials. They've been called to the governor's office. They've been told that this is the. Mr. Subhash, can you hear me?
Hello.
Are you able to hear me clearly now? Well, all that I'm saying is the BRS spokesperson here clearly says that, clarifications have been given on multiple occasions to the governor by the officials. There was no reason for her to reject it. All the clarity that she needs, she has it, and this is just a politically motivated move.
All the bills would have been stopped by the governor. Many of the bills have been cleared. See, our question is, the point of contention is, when there is no enough funds for the government of Telangana to pay salaries to the employees of the government, especially to the teachers also, if at all they are being paid, they are paid in a deferred manner. Where is the question of giving a nod for the private universities bill? It has to be clarified whether it is in line with the the constitution, whether it is in line with the new education policy. All those things have been required to be clarified. And many of the issues, many of the places.
But that's what the BRS is saying, that these clarifications were sought and given at the governor's residence itself.
Nothing. Even they have gone to the Supreme Court also. The governor has given explanation to the Supreme Court also. She has responded. Only 2 bills have been kept in abeyance because of certain the clarifications. Let me tell you something, that the governor has been again and again being insulted by this government. No other state has insulted their the respective governors. The governor is supposed to be the constitutional head. She is the head of this the state, and she has to be respected. Being a woman also, she has to be given more respect, but this government doesn't have any attitude towards the governor system itself. They wanted to change the constitution. If you can hear, the BRS, the chief, Mr. KCR, has been telling that the constitution of India has to be changed. Some amendments have to be done. So in this connection, it is very clear evidence.
Okay. Let me as we are coming to. As we come close to the end of this debate, I'll bring in Mr. Sekhar to give our viewers a little bit of in-depth analysis as to what kind of ramifications it can have in Telangana. Because Mr. Sekhar, explain to our viewers here, when you have these 3 bills that has been kept in abeyance, does it benefit? Do these bills in any way benefit the BRS, considering that you have elections around the corner, or keeping them in abeyance? If you say that, or if BRS alleges that it's politically motivated, does it really benefit the BJP?
See, whether
kept in abeyance,
whether it's beneficial to the people or not, whether it's beneficial to the BRS politically or the BJP politically, would all have become relevant only if this has happened a couple of years before. And the governor has been sitting over the bills, and she has dragged it for 10 months and provoked the government to go to court. And court did not want an impasse between the governor and the chief minister, or the governor and the government. So court has advised both the parties to sort it out amicably. And the governor very well knows that the Article 200 of the Constitution clearly enshrines that she has no other option but to give her assent only if the assembly reconsiders the bill without any changes as advised by the governor also. So it is an ego issue between the governor and the government. This is the whole issue. The crux of the whole issue is that. And when the government, when this minister and the officials have gone and given clarifications and explained to the honorable governor what exactly the clarification she wanted to know, even after doing so, the bill has not been passed. And there were actually the bone of contention between both the offices was over 10 bills. Some she has rejected, some she has referred to the President of India. And for some, she sought clarifications and suggested amendments. So there is an impasse between the office
Mr. Sekhar,
and the government. So it is political. There is nothing more to discuss on the merits of the bills and whether they are beneficial to the BJP or the BRS. Any government in good faith.
Now, Mr. Sekhar says it's not about the bills, its context, it's just politics that is taking center stage. We'll, of course, closely monitor all the developments because this doesn't look like an issue that's going to die down anytime soon. I thank all the panelists, of course, for joining us on this quick debate. We're moving on to some more news that's coming in from southern part of India. This